First time I had ever heard of the Fibonacci sequence was in my math class sophomore year, and I thought it was confusing and useless. But later that year, I read this book, which I stole from my dad's bookshelf, and imagine my surprise when the Fibonacci sequence was a part of a clue given to the main character that he then used to solve the mystery of a murder. What's the Fibonacci sequence, you may ask? Well, let's start from the beginning. In 300 BCE, Acharya Pingala was a mathematician and a poet in India, and he wrote about a sequence of numbers in a poem, a sequence of numbers which came to be known as the Mantra Maru. About 1500 years later in Italy, a young man by the name of Leonardo Fibonacci wrote about it in his book, Fibonacci, or the Book of Calculations, which brought the Fibonacci sequence and Arabic numerals to the West. The most notable question, I think, concerning the Fibonacci sequence is the very question Leonardo Fibonacci asked in the Fibonacci. A certain man put a pair of rabbits in a place surrounded by a wall. How many pairs of rabbits can be produced from that pair in a year if it is supposed that every month each pair begets a new pair from which the second month on becomes productive? Okay, what? Basically, you put 2 rabbits in a garden. If it takes 1 pair of rabbits 2 months to reproduce, how many rabbits are in the garden after a year, assuming none die or escape? It might help to draw it out. The amount of rabbits in the pen each month are also the numbers of the Fibonacci sequence, and you might see a pattern. Each number is equal to the sum of the 2 numbers that come before it. But what is so important about this sequence, and why do we care? Well, if you divide each number by the one that comes before it, you'll find that each quotient approaches a certain irrational number. You can actually find this in many shapes. Take a rectangle and put a square in the rectangle with the same side length as the shorter side. The total length, a plus b, divided by the short side length, a, is equal to b over a, which is equal to phi, and the ratio of phi to 1 is the golden ratio. How cool is that? The Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio have a lot of applications beyond just rabbits. The Fibonacci sequence is found in male bees if you trace their ancestry. It's in the number and angle between the flower petals, aka the golden angle, pineapples and pine cones, art like in the Da Vinci Code, Pascal's triangle, oddly enough, and even stocks. So the next time you shake your head at your math teacher for teaching you useless things, don't, because it might be more applicable than you think.